Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Fluent Start English Channel Practice Podcast, Episode 4. Today we're going to talk about how to build confidence for daily English conversations. Speaking English can be scary at first, but with small steps, you can feel more confident every day. Here are 5 practical tips you can use. Tip 1. Practice every day. The first and most important tip for building confidence in English conversations is to practice every day. You might think that learning English only happens in classrooms or through formal study, but the truth is that real progress comes when you make English a part of your daily life. Even a small amount of daily practice can make a huge difference over time. Start by finding just 10 to 15 minutes every day to speak, read, or listen in English. This could be in the morning before you start your day, during a lunch break, or even before going to sleep. The key is consistency. Learning a language is like exercising a muscle. The more you train it, the stronger it becomes. Skipping days can slow down your progress, so try to make it a daily habit. You can practice speaking to yourself. This may feel strange at first, but it's very effective. Describe what you are doing, talk about your plans for the day, or explain something you learned recently. For example, you could say, "Today I will go to the store. I need to buy bread, milk, and fruit." Speaking out loud helps your brain connect words to actions and ideas, and it trains your mouth and tongue to form English sounds naturally. Another great way to practice daily is by reading out loud. Pick a book, article, or even a short story in English, and read it slowly and clearly. Pay attention to pronunciation, intonation, and rhythm. Reading out loud is different from just reading silently. It gives you the opportunity to hear your own voice in English and build confidence in speaking. Over time, you will notice that your pronunciation improves and that you can speak more smoothly. Repetition is key. Don't be afraid to repeat phrases, sentences, or short dialogues multiple times. When you hear and say the same words every day, your brain starts to remember them automatically. This makes it easier to recall words and expressions during real conversations. You can even repeat lines from your favorite movies, songs, or podcasts. This not only improves your speaking skills, but also makes learning fun and engaging. Finally, remember that small steps add up. You don't need to spend hours each day speaking English. Even a few minutes of focused practice daily is better than one long session once a week. By practicing every day, you build a habit, improve your vocabulary, and gain confidence in expressing your thoughts. Over time, speaking English will start to feel natural, and you will notice that you are less nervous and more comfortable in conversations. So, make a plan to practice English every day. Speak, read, repeat, and immerse yourself in the language as much as possible. Consistency is the secret to building real confidence. Tip 2. Start with simple sentences. The second tip for building confidence in daily English conversations is to start with simple sentences. Many learners feel nervous because they try to speak long, complicated sentences with perfect grammar. This creates pressure and often leads to mistakes or hesitation. But here's the truth. You don't need complex sentences to communicate well. Confidence grows when you can express yourself clearly. And the best way to do that is by starting simple. Think about how children learn their first language. They don't begin with long sentences full of advanced vocabulary. They start with very short expressions like, "I want water," or "let's play." Over time, as they practice more and hear more words, their sentences naturally grow longer. You can follow the same process with English. Keep it simple at the beginning and allow your language to expand naturally with practice. For example, instead of worrying about a long sentence like, "I was wondering if you could please help me find the nearest supermarket because I am new to this city," you can simply say, "Excuse me, where is the supermarket?" The shorter version is clear, polite, and much easier to remember. Once you are comfortable with simple sentences, you can slowly add more details. Starting simple also helps you avoid fear. When you try to speak perfectly, you may freeze or stop talking because you are worried about grammar mistakes. But when you focus on small, easy sentences, you can keep the conversation moving. Imagine someone asks you, "How are you?" Instead of staying quiet because you want to answer perfectly, you can simply say, "I'm good, thank you," or "I'm a little tired today." These answers are short, correct, and natural. Another benefit of simple sentences is that they reduce stress for your listener, too. Sometimes learners think they must impress people with advanced English, but most people prefer clear and direct communication. Simple sentences are easier for both you and your listener to understand. So, the next time you practice, don't pressure yourself to speak like a native speaker with long, complex phrases. Instead, focus on short, useful, and clear sentences. As you build confidence, you will naturally combine these short sentences into longer ones. Step by step, your English will grow, and so will your confidence. Remember, simple is powerful. Clear, short sentences are the foundation of strong English communication. Tip 3. Don't be afraid of mistakes. The third tip for building confidence in daily English conversations is simple but very powerful. Don't be afraid of mistakes. This is something many learners struggle with because nobody likes to be wrong. But the truth is, mistakes are not something to fear, they are actually your best teacher. Think about how you learned to ride a bicycle. Did you ride it perfectly the first time? Of course not. You probably fell, maybe many times. But each time you fell, you learned how to balance better. Learning English is the same. Every time you make a mistake, you discover something new, and you improve. Many English learners stay quiet in conversations because they are worried about grammar mistakes, pronunciation mistakes, or using the wrong word. But staying silent is the biggest mistake of all, because silence means no practice. If you never practice, you never improve. So, instead of worrying about mistakes, see them as steps forward. Here's a secret. Even native speakers make mistakes. They forget words, they change their sentences in the middle, they say and when they are thinking. Communication is not about being perfect, it's about sharing ideas. If people understand your message, then you are successful, even if you make small mistakes. For example, imagine you want to say, I went to the supermarket yesterday, but you forget the past tense and say, I go to supermarket yesterday. Guess what? The person listening will still understand you. You have communicated your idea clearly, and that is the main goal. Over time, with practice, you will remember to say went instead of go. But if you don't try, you won't get the chance to improve. Another helpful idea is to learn from your mistakes instead of feeling bad about them. If someone corrects you, don't feel embarrassed, feel grateful. That correction is a gift. It shows you what to practice next. If nobody corrects you, you can correct yourself by listening carefully to native speakers or re-listening to your own speech. Every mistake becomes a lesson that pushes you forward. You can also change the way you think about mistakes. Instead of saying, I made a mistake, that's bad, say, I made a mistake, that means I am learning. This positive mindset will make you more confident and less afraid. Remember, mistakes are proof that you are trying, and trying is the only way to succeed. So the next time you speak English, don't be shy. Don't wait until your sentence is perfect in your head. Just speak. If you make a mistake, keep going. Most people will not even notice, and those who do will still respect you for your effort. In short, mistakes are not your enemy. They are your teacher. The more mistakes you make, the faster you learn. Be brave, be proud of your progress, and keep speaking. Confidence is not about speaking perfectly. It's about speaking without fear. Tip 4. Listen and repeat. The fourth tip for building confidence in daily English conversations is to listen and repeat. This method is one of the fastest ways to improve your speaking and feel more natural in conversations. Why? Because when you listen carefully to English and then repeat what you hear, you are training both your ears and your mouth at the same time. Think about how babies learn to speak their first language. They listen to their parents. They hear the same words many times, and then they try to copy the sounds. At first, it is not perfect, but little by little, they get better. You can use the same method for English. Listening and repeating is like copying the rhythm, pronunciation, and melody of the language. Here's how you can do it. Choose something to listen to, maybe a short podcast, a movie line, or a YouTube video in English. Play one sentence or a short part, pause it, and repeat exactly what you hear. Try to copy the speaker's pronunciation, stress, and intonation. Don't worry if it doesn't sound perfect at first. The more you practice, the closer your English will sound to natural speech. Another idea is to use subtitles. Watch a short video in English with English subtitles. First, listen carefully and read along. Then, pause the video, repeat the sentence out loud, and try to say it without looking at the subtitles. This practice will help you remember useful phrases and improve your fluency. Listening and repeating also helps you think faster in English. When you practice repeating sentences, your brain begins to recognize common patterns. For example, if you repeat sentences like, "Can you help me?" or "I would like to," you will start to use these phrases automatically in real conversations. You don't need to spend hours on this. Even 5-10 minutes of listening and repeating each day can make a big difference. Over time, you'll notice that your pronunciation is clearer, your rhythm is smoother, and your confidence is stronger. So remember, listen, pause, repeat, and copy. The more you practice this, the more natural and confident you will sound when speaking English. Tip 5. Speak with real people. The fifth and final tip is the most important. Speak with real people. Practicing alone is very useful, but real confidence comes when you use English in real conversations. Speaking with real people gives you the chance to practice listening, responding, and thinking in English on the spot. You don't need to wait until your English is perfect to start speaking with others. In fact, waiting too long can slow your progress. Remember, the goal is communication, not perfection. Even short conversations can help you feel more comfortable and reduce fear. How can you do this? If you have friends who speak English, try using English for part of your conversation. It might feel strange at first, but it will get easier. If you don't have English-speaking friends nearby, you can find language partners online. There are many websites and apps where you can connect with people who also want to practice. Another option is to join an English club, a speaking group, or even online classes where the focus is on conversation. The more you practice in real-life situations, the more natural it becomes. When you speak with real people, remember it's okay to make mistakes. Most people will understand you even if your grammar is not perfect. In fact, most people admire the effort you make to speak in another language. Each conversation you have is like a small training session for your brain. Start small. You don't need to have long, deep conversations right away. You can begin with greetings, short questions, or simple answers. For example, "How are you?" "I'm fine, thank you." These short exchanges may seem simple, but they are powerful steps toward confidence. The more you speak with real people, the faster your fear will disappear. You will realize that communication is possible, even if your English is not perfect. Over time, your sentences will become longer, your vocabulary will grow, and your confidence will shine. So don't hide your English. Use it with real people every chance you get. Every conversation is progress. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode on how to build confidence for daily English conversations. We talked about 5 important tips. Practice every day. Start with simple sentences. Don't be afraid of mistakes. Listen and repeat. And speak with real people. If you found this episode helpful, please subscribe to this podcast so you don't miss the next one. Also, don't forget to share it with your friends who are learning English. It might help them too. And if you enjoyed it, please give it a like or leave a comment to let me know your thoughts. Remember, learning English is a journey. Keep practicing, stay confident, and step by step, you will improve. See you in the next episode.